What's up YouTube? Today I'm going to show you how to replace the water pump on an R56 Mini Cooper S with the N14 engine. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and stick around. You're going to want to watch this whole video. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do obviously is order your new water pump. This is the one I got. It's the OEM replacement. It's the upgraded version because the old ones weren't as good. That's what it looks like on the inside. That's what it looks like on the outside. I'll put a link in the description to where you can get the water pump so you don't have to search for it. Okay, you're going to want to get your car up on jack stands and remove your passenger front tire, because I'm going to go in through the wheel well. It's going to be the easiest way. You can remove it from the top, but you got to take the motor mount out and jack the motor up, and it just looks like a lot more work. But I'm just going to go through the wheel well. It should be pretty easy. Next, put something underneath your radiator support so that you can catch the coolant once you drain it, because you definitely want to drain the coolant to do this job. From the top of the car, go ahead and remove the cap on your coolant tank reservoir, just so that when you go to drain it, the pressure will let it drain easier. From here, you could use any type of pliers, but I use these hose clamp pliers. And what you're going to want to do is release this clip right here. You're just going to squeeze it and pull it back. Okay, now you're going to want to take a pick tool, and there's a gap. You want to get in between the hose and the plastic piece, and just enough to break the seal. You don't want to damage the hose in any way. But you're just trying to get it in there enough to where you break the seal. I don't know if I broke it, but there we go. And once you break the seal, you just pull the hose off. You just let that drain into your pan that you had sitting there. Okay, from inside the wheel well, you're going to want to remove that little screw right there, and then also this one down at the bottom right here. You can take the whole liner out if you want to. I've never done it for anything. I've done the timing chain. I've done a few things where where people take the whole liner out. I only take out a couple of screws and I just pull this back to get access. There is no access under here, under this part of the wheel well, under the liner. There's a little up here, but you're not going up there, so it doesn't really matter. So I just get it a little bit out of the way so that I can get up to the water pump. Okay, first I'm going to go ahead and take this one out. If you take a flathead screwdriver and you press down on the outer ring part, you can keep it from spinning. If you have a body trim tool, that'll actually work too, but this works. And once you get that loose, you can go ahead and pull it out all the way. And go ahead and do the same thing on the next one. Mine's a little stripped, so it might be a little bit harder to get out. Doesn't seem like it. There we go. Now, just for a little bit of room, I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out just so I have more flexibility. Okay, now I'm just gonna go ahead and pull the fender liner around the brake line and around the spring on the top. Go ahead and pull it out. Just enough like that. And you have enough room right there. You don't have to take this all the way off. Okay, now right underneath your harmonic balancer, where you see this little clamp right here on your AC line, if you look directly right there where my finger, under my finger, that's a 10mm bolt. If you take that out, you could remove this clamp right here to give you some play on your AC line. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Okay, with a couple extensions on there, and I have one on the end that's kind of a wobbling extension. You can get onto there pretty easy. Go ahead and take it out. Once it gets loose, do it by hand. Go ahead and pull the bolt out all the way like that. Kind of stuck in there. There we go, it's 10mm. That is the wobbling extension I was using that makes it easier to get in there. Okay, now I'm gonna try to do this with one hand, but you put a flathead screwdriver right in here, and you can pry that open like that, and this will come right off. And you can take that whole bracket out. That just gives you some room so you can move this. It's not in your, if it's a little bit in your way, you have a little bit of play. Okay, next you're gonna want to take I'm gonna use a ratchet wrench, and I'm gonna loosen these 3 bolts on the water pump pulley. I'm gonna loosen them with the wrench, and then I'm gonna pull them off by hand. Okay, I couldn't really get it on video, but what I did is I put a screwdriver up against one of the bolts while I loosened the other 2 bolts, and then I moved the screwdriver to the 3rd bolt, to one of the bolts that was already loosened, and then I loosened the other tight bolt. And if you don't do that, the whole pulley turns while you're trying to loosen the bolt. But it's actually pretty easy. I don't have anywhere to set up the camera to do it. At this point, they are all hand loose. I can take them out with my hand. I'm not going to make you watch me do it. I was just demonstrating that you can do it with your hands. It's pretty easy. The bolts are super short like that. There's 3 of them. Pretty easy. Okay, now I'm going to pull this little pin out right here. Do it. Let me get a better shot with my camera, but I'm going to pull that, where'd it go? Pull that pin out, and I'm going to show you how to latch it real quick. Okay, so you're going to want to grab on to this little tab right here and just pull straight out like that, and that'll allow this to drop down. Pull it out all the way. Hold on, make sure I pulled it out all the way. Oh, there we go. When you pull it out all the way, then hold on, let me get a better shot here. All right, there's a little square cutout on the ribbon part of this tab, and when you pull it out, you can feel it with your thumb. It actually hooks on to a little tab up there like that, and then it'll stay all the way open. And now your tensioner is loose. So now let me move this so you can see it. But now your actual tensioner is loose. I wasn't able to really get a good shot, but here we go. Now you can see how much play there is. So now you can reach up here, grab onto your pulley, that comes off, and just go ahead and pull that out. Okay, now the way to get the pulley out is you want to take the bottom of it, you can do this with one hand here, and you want to tilt it towards the outside of the car. I can find a way to get my hand in there, and then it'll pop out. Like that. I'm gonna need both hands to reach up there and grab it, but you can see it's just barely sitting there. I just gotta pull it out. All right, you can keep the old pulley if yours is in good condition. Mine's got a few scuffs on it, but I went ahead and bought a new pulley, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. It's an OEM pulley. That's the part number. You can see it's genuine Mini or BMW group. Okay, first screws I'm going to get out are those two that you can see. There's one right there and there's one right there. I'm going to use that same 10mm with the little wobbly extension on it. It's only about 1.5 inches long to take those two out. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but I'm putting the socket on there. Go ahead and break that loose. Take that out. Use that long extension like I said. Then I also have my magnet, my pen magnet that I'm going to use. So I don't drop that bolt when it comes all the way out. How long is this bolt? I believe I got it. And there's the bolt right there. Okay, now I'm going to get this bolt right here that's next to it on the bottom. I just came in between the shock mount, or the actual shock, and the end link. Breaks loose pretty easy. I also went ahead and I put the little thing that catches my coolant, the tank, underneath it. What I drained my coolant into earlier, because when I take this water pump off, coolant's gonna come out. Again, I'm gonna put my pen magnet in there so I don't drop it. I dropped it anyway, but I got it, pen magnet. Okay, now if you lay on the ground and you look up into the engine bay, you can see the other 3 bolts clearly. I don't know if you can see them on camera or not, but I'm not going to be able to film it, but you're just going to take a regular wrench, a ratchet with a socket on it, and see what fits up there. This one fits on the first bolt that I tried. I haven't tried the other 2 yet, but yeah, I'm just going to put those on there and try to get them loose, and then I'll show you the next step. For the very top bolt, what I found is this ratchet with the swivel on it. If you put your hands, let me see if I can get a shot of it. I'm not gonna be able to show you the bolt, but I can show you kind of how I do it. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to show you exactly where the bolt is, but it's the very top one. It's gonna be the one you're having trouble with. You're gonna take a ratchet wrench with a swivel on it if you have one. If not, just any type of wrench that you can get in there, but the swivel makes it easy. And you're gonna reach between your end link and your brake line and above your AC line. And you're gonna reach up there until you can get your hands on that bolt above the pulley. And then with your other hand, you're gonna reach back there with the ratchet so that you can use your left hand to put the ratchet on the bolt. And then you can actually push in with your finger, I'm using my pointer finger, to keep the bolt from going the wrong way when it's not tight. And you just loosen it like that until you can get it to where it's hand loosened, which mine is right now. I'm just gonna reach up in there, try to fish the water pump out. Let's see if I can do it while I have the camera on. Okay, I basically just started rotating the water pump counterclockwise until it popped down, and then I just kept pushing it towards this hose right here, this AC hose, and towards the axle until it popped out all the way. I'm gonna go ahead and reach up there and pull the gasket out. There's the gasket. Okay, so the new water pump, it goes on with this part facing down. Just look at the old one. You can see this part right here goes on the top, and that's the way you're going to try to fit it in. Before I put the new water pump in, I'm going to go ahead and wipe down the area where the old water pump was. So this camera's gonna be in my way though. Okay, with that all cleaned up, now you're just gonna take your new water pump in the orientation that it goes, and you're gonna fish it up in there. Believe it or not, but putting it up in there turns out to be a lot easier than taking it out. So I just slid it up in there. I rotated it back and forth a little bit, and it's sitting in place right now. Now I just got to grab the bolts and hand tighten them. Okay, to get this first bolt in, I'm going to take my ratchet, and I'm just going to put the screw in it. Obviously I'm not going to do it like that, but all right. Just going to put the screw in it like that, and I'm going to feed it between the shock and the end link and go straight back until I get it to where that hole is. But I'm going to hold on to the water pump with my other hand if I can get over there without knocking the camera out of the way. There we go. Get that little bit tight by hand. There we go. It's the first one. Do the same thing with the second bolt, which is right there at the end of where my ratchet thing is. If I can get it on camera. See the hole right there? Do the same thing, but I'm not gonna be able to get it on camera because the camera will be in my way when I'm trying to tighten it. Actually, it turns out I can get it on camera. The same way I took it out, right above the crank pulley, and right above the tensioner. I'm coming in, trying to, and just sliding it in the hole like that, if you can see it, and then I'm turning it. And once I get that snug, I'll move on to the next ones. Okay, the top three, I'm trying to light up there so you can see them. That didn't really help. But the top three, you have to just reach up there with your hands. There we go. You can kind of see them. But you just reach up there with your hands and you gotta just tighten them by hand until you get them tight. Or, you know, hand tight. And then what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to tighten the very top one first, since that seemed to be the hardest. And then I'm gonna work down from there. So the very top bolt I got in with the swivel ratchet, same way I took it out. I have just a 10mm on this ratchet right here. Oops. Let's see if I can get that on camera. It's hard to do with one hand. Oh yeah, there we go. And it's already pretty snug, but you can barely get a few turns on it, a few clicks. And then the one over on this side, the ratchet just fits right on it too. I already got that one snug. Then the two on the bottom are the ones that I showed you already. Now to get the one on the top all the way tight, again, I'm going to take this and I'm going to use my left hand to put it on the bolt, and my right hand to fish it up in there. You can't see exactly what I'm doing, but take my left hand. You can either reach between here, like I said earlier, or if you come around here, doesn't matter. As long as you come over top of your AC line, and reach up until you feel the actual bolt. And then you take your wrench and fish it up the other side and just put it into your hand. And then you just put it on the bolt. Make sure you have it go in the right direction. There we go. Then just go ahead and get it snug like that. Alright, I got those all pretty tight. The manual, hold on a second. The manual doesn't give any tightening torque specs, but I just tightened it as tight as I could with the wrenches, and but the thermostat housing, it's 71 inch-pounds, and it's the same type of bolt, so it's probably pretty, you know, try to get it close to that. That's what I recommend. All right, so now we're gonna take the new pulley, or your old pulley if that's what you're gonna use. I'm just going to slide it up there. I'm just going to set it right there for now. Okay, I'm just going to reach up there. And try to figure out how to get it around the pulley. There it goes. All right. I just got to line up the holes so I can put the first screw in. Find them. So take your 3 bolts, your little short bolts like this, and you're going to rotate your pump or your pulley until you can see the first hole, and you're going to put it in by hand, obviously. It's going to take both ends. But once you get it started, the other two line up real easy. All right, for these bolts, once you get them all tight by hand, you're not going to be able to tighten them with just one wrench because the pulley turns real easy, as you can see. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and put one ratchet or one wrench onto a bolt and then tighten a different bolt the same way I took it off. I'll try to get it on camera. Unfortunately, I'm going to need both hands, and where the camera is, I'm not going to be able to do it on camera. But you see how I have that bolt or that wrench on that bolt right there? I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to hold that wrench with my left hand, and I'm going to take this ratchet wrench, I'm going to put it on the bolt that's right here, and I'm going to tighten it. And then I'm going to rotate the pulley clockwise, and I'm going to keep doing that until all three bolts are tight. Okay, so once you have those pretty snug, I don't have them all the way snug, but I'm going to go ahead and release the tension, or I'm going to go ahead and put the tension back on the tensioner. Reach up and grab this, pull out on it, and then it'll slide back in. And then make sure you push it in all the way. Let's see if I can get mine to go in all the way. Once you've got it all the way seated, let me see if I can get the light on it. You won't be able to see. It'll be all the way seated like that. That's what you want it to look like. Okay, so now you're going to want to put your AC bracket back on. I'm just going to set it in there like this. Let me set up the camera a little bit better. Okay, so this bracket just slips back over the pipe like that. Then it'll, once you get in it, there's a little indentation right here. It actually fits in good. I'm gonna wait to snap it in until after I get the 10mm bolt in though. Look at on your engine block, right above your oil pan, you can see, if I can get my hand in there, there's a, right there, where my finger is, can't really get it on camera, but there's a little hole. I don't know why my phone won't focus. But you're going to line up that hole. It's the same hole that the bracket came out of. And you're going to line it up. Okay, once you get that hole, it's going to take both hands to do it, but once you get the hole lined up on the bracket that you just put on that pipe with the hole, or with the threads on the block right above the oil pan, take a ratchet, or just a couple extensions like this with the screw in the end, and then just hand feed it in there and hand tighten it, and then tighten it down as tight as, well, not as tight as you can get it, but pretty snug. Again, I don't have any torque specs for this. I just take my wrench, and you don't want to strip it, obviously. And so I can only get it with one hand, but just tighten that down, and then this part right here, you just push it together. Let's see if I can do that with one hand. Like that, and that clips together like that, and that's in there. So next, just put your your fender liner back. Go ahead and put both of these screws back in, these fender liner clips, whatever they're called. There's no torque specs in the book for torquing these down either. I'm just going to get them as tight as I can, and with the tensioner, you know, holding it on, it's going to be a little bit easier. Get it as tight as I can. And you know, then you need to fill your coolant. I have a video on how to bleed your coolant system. You're going to want to watch that video because you need to do that right now. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video.